and we're Bill 15% trade kicker and no trade clause. And then we're going to get to a mailbag question. Let's get to
it. You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver. You can follow me on Twitter at EDTOOFLATT. And I just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. All right, so today, it's been a while. I know Bradley Beal, I want to say he signed the deal on July 6th. Yeah, he signed it on July 6th, or they actually came out with the contract details. Bobby Marks and the Washington Wizards came out with the contract details. Bradley Beal, Ted Leonsis, Wes Unseld Jr., Dave Johnson, the radio announcer for the Washington Wizards. They had a press conference just announcing the deal to the media and to the fans. I forgot what day that was, but they came up with the details. I know everybody's probably exhausted about hearing the details, but once again, I was not here when they came up with the contract details for Bradley Beal's contract. So the surprising thing, and I know a lot of Wizards fans are enraged or upset about it, is the 15% trade kicker and also the no trade clause. So for the people who don't know what a no trade clause is that Bradley Beal controls his own destiny as far as getting traded. If he requests a trade, the Wizards, if he requests a trade, they can only trade him to a team that he would like to go to. So for example, if let's say the Kings have a really good offer on the table, let's say 2 years from now, they want to offer us Keegan Murray, let's say Harrison Barnes and Davion Mitchell, and a first-round pick for Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal can turn that down, which I think that would be that's just a hypothetical deal. You can reach your opinion on the trade machine, whatever. Or let's say the Oklahoma City Thunder have a really good deal. They have an abundance of first-round picks. They want to trade those picks to the Wizards, but Bradley Beal doesn't want to go to OKC's. And you look at what's going on with Kevin Durant right now. Kevin Durant, he doesn't have a no-trade clause. Bradley Beal right now is the only player in the NBA currently with a no trade clause. LeBron doesn't have one. Giannis doesn't have one. Jimmy Butler doesn't have one. Joel Embiid doesn't have one currently. But Bradley Beal has a no trade clause at the moment. So Bradley Beal controls his destiny. As I was getting at with the Kevin Durant example, Kevin Durant requested a trade, but he doesn't have a no trade clause in his contract. So he does not control what team he wants to go to. He already said that he prefers the Phoenix Suns and the Miami Heat, the 2 first seeds in the playoffs last year. But the owner of the team, Joe Tsai and the Nets and the GM, they're the ones who make the final decision. Where this time, Ted Leonsis and Tommy Shepard, they have to go by what Bradley Beal wants. So they can't get the best offer if down the line 2 years from now, or even a year from now, let's say the Wizards go 37-45 and Bradley Beal's unhappy, they have to send Brad where he wants to go. So let's say Brad wants to play with Jason Tatum and his best buddy, or play with the Celtics, he could force a trade there, and we would have to listen to his demands. We would have to go by him, and the Celtics, they might not even have a good offer. We just have to take whatever late round pick or whatever players that they offer. So it puts the Wizards, Bradley Beal has leverage on a trade, on being where he wants to be traded. He controls his own destiny in that part, and it hurts the Wizards if they want to start a rebuild. They can't get the best deal or the best package they would like. For another example, if the Hawks want to trade us John Collins, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, and a couple picks to bring in Bradley Beal and pair him next to DeJounte Murray and Trae Young, it's just a hypothetical, and Bradley Beal doesn't want to go to the Hawks, he could turn that down. So we would have to basically, someone has the Wizards in a stranglehold or someone in a chokehold, quote unquote, of controlling his own destiny. Now, Ted Leonsis said, I want to bring up the quote here from Ted Leonsis here. Ted Leonsis, he said, I'm going to pull up the quote here on Twitter. He says, I wish we had a relationship like you have with your players. This is what he said about what rival league owners have said to him since re-signing Bradley Beal on a Supermax deal. I don't know if they said that to him or not, but and then he says, quote, Bradley Beal, he does not want to be traded, and we don't want to trade him. So this is what they're saying now. So that's just the disadvantage there for the trade clause, which I'm not a big fan of. Giving Bradley Beal $250 million, 35% of the salary cap, and also throwing in a 15% trade kicker and a no trade clause. I just thought it was a little overkill. I thought it was a little unnecessary. I'm happy Bradley Beal got paid. I'm happy he has generational wealth. He has a nice family. He does a lot of good things in the community. He's been a great player, 10 years of service. So to even qualify for the deal, you have to have eight years of service or 10 years of service on the same team to be eligible to get a no trade clause. That's what you have to do. So guys, if Kevin Durant went back to OKC, he would be eligible for it. If LeBron went back to Cleveland, he would be eligible for a no trade clause. And you look at the names that are included in guys that have got no trade clause: Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, John Stockton, and LeBron James. Now, those guys on this list have more decorated accolades than Bradley Beal. All those guys are going to the Hall of Fame. Bradley Beal, depending on how he finishes his career, maybe he could make it to the Hall of Fame if he can make probably 3 or 4 more All-Star games and I would say at least 2 more All-NBAs. He could possibly make it to the Hall of Fame. But he just comparing him to those guys on the list, those guys are just no question Hall of Famers on that list. And Bradley Beal's a good player. I just don't see him as a number one option on a championship team or on a legitimate championship contender. I think he's a good player. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a number 2 option. I think he's a 1A or I think he's a 1B. He's a 1B. He's a perennial All-Star, 3-time All-Star, 1-time All-NBA. Now, he has to live up to this deal. He just has to. The fourth quarter in the clutch, he can't miss any free throws. He can't miss any technical foul free throws. He can't slip and fall over his feet and dribble the ball over his feet in the clutch in the last 2 minutes of the game. He has to step up and live up to that contract. You know, we gave a big contract to John Wall, a big contract to Gilbert Arenas. Those contracts didn't end well because of injuries. Bradley Beal has a chance to prove the Wizards right on giving him that contract. He does have an opportunity to do that. He just has to stay healthy, has to play better in the clutch, and he has to play like he did in 2021 or 2020, putting up at least 27, 28 points a game. He's going to have to do it. He has to be the deciding factor in whether the Wizards lose or win games. So, I was listening to Matt Moderno, his podcast, and somebody joked the Wizards probably should have given him an ownership stake as well. So Bradley Beal has gotten a lot from Ted and from Tommy Shepard as well. And he's a good guy. He's a great guy, great community guy. Definitely the definition of a character guy for sure. Now the 15% trade kicker, if they trade him, they have to pay him 15% of his salary. So when you trade him, you pay him. So that gives Bradley Beal leverage as well. When you trade Brad, you have to pay him 15% of his salary, 15% of the $235 million of the $250 million. I'm sorry, of the 5-year, $251 million contract. They have to pay him 15% of the yearly salary when they trade Bradley Beal. This is from Bobby Marks as well. Or I'm sorry, this is from Spot Track. In 2022-23, Bradley Beal is going to be making $43.2 million. In the 2024 season, he's going to be making $46 million. In the 2025 season, he's going to be making $50 million. In 2026, he's going to be making $53 million. And in 2027, he's going to be making $57 million with a player option. They also threw the player option, which is something that we did not know. Those are more the details of the contract. The player option at the end. You think about John Wall's contract. He had a player option. Russell Westbrook as well had a player option of $47 million. Bradley Beal is going to opt into that contract. Just like John Wall opted into the contract, Russell Westbrook just opted into his player option of a Supermax deal. So Bradley Beal, he's going to opt into that contract. Whether he's here or not, he's going to opt into that contract. Bradley Beal, once again, he said that he genuinely believes that he can win a championship in DC. We will see about that. Of course, I'm rooting for that to happen. But it's going to be a tough task. It really is. It's going to be a tough task. And he talked about guys that are switching teams and requesting trades. And, he didn't want to team up with 4. He says he doesn't want to team up with 4 All-Stars. Then you kind of see what's going on with James Harden and the Sixers, where they lost in the second round. You've seen guys switch teams many times, and they still haven't ended up as NBA champions. So I see what he's saying there. But, of course, people are questioning, whether he's doing it for the money, the generational wealth, or does he genuinely want to win? Or the third option is he going to take the money and then ask out 2 years from now and then force a trade to, hey, the Celtics or the Miami Heat, and the Wizards don't get the best return that they really could have gotten, say from like a Thunder or the Kings or another team that has a good amount of first round picks in the foreseeable future. So that's my 2 cents on it. I'm rooting for Bradley Beal to live up to the contract possibly, but the 15% trade kicker and the no trade clause is something that the Wizards, Bradley Beal, he just does have leverage. He does have leverage on that part. So it was pretty surprising in my opinion. I did not think they were going to throw that into the contract as well, on top of giving him the 35% of the salary cap and $251 million. So But that's my thoughts on it. So, but we are going to transition into, I have some numbers that I want to bring up about Johnny Davis in his first 2 summer league games. And then I'm going to answer 1 or 2 mailbag questions. One is about Corey Kispert. I do want to get to that today. And then tomorrow, I'm going to answer a couple more mailbag questions, and then we'll do a summer league preview. So, but before we do get to some numbers from Johnny Davis from his first 2 summer league games, this episode is brought to you by Built Bar. From the people who invented healthy and tasty comes the latest gift to your taste buds. You've probably tried the amazing coconut brownie chunk Built Bar, but guess what? Your friends at Built have given coconut brownie chunk the Puffs treatment. That's right. The coconut brownie chunk Built Bar flavor you love, and a deliciously chewy marshmallow covered in 100% real chocolate. It's like a fluffy cloud of coconut brownie goodness. But stop drooling and listen. Listen, they are good for you. Low calorie, low sugar, high protein, and all delicious. All Built Bars are made with collagen protein, which your body absorbs more efficiently and provides tons of health benefits. Eat something that tastes good and is good for you. The best part about Built Puffs is, of course, they taste amazing, but you can enjoy them gluten-free or guilt-free because they are actually good for you. They are the perfect treat, perfect when you've got a craving you need to satisfy your sweet tooth. Or if you need a quick, healthy snack, they are an excellent source of protein. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCK15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKed15. All right, so I just want to pull up some numbers here through 2 games. It doesn't really give you much information. I just want to give you guys some context on how the Wizards Summer League, and not just Johnny Davis, some other guys like Vernon Carey, where they match up or where they're at as far as like rankings compared to other guys in the Summer League right now. They do have the stats on realgm.com. So right now, to put in perspective how Johnny Davis has been through the first 2 games of the Summer League, he's shooting 25% from the field, which is way below average. He's shooting 20% from the 3-point line. He's 5 for 20 from the field overall, 1 for 5 from the 3-point line through 2 games, 100% from the free throw line, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, 3.5 rebounds per game. Now he's leading the team in turnovers right now with 2.5 per game. He's leading the Wizards in minutes per game as well with 26.4. So he's getting a lot of playing time. Unfortunately, he's turning over the ball a good amount of times with 2.5 turnovers, not shooting the ball well from the field, obviously, which is what we've seen. Another guy, Isaiah Todd, who they're focusing on right now a lot. The Wizards have said that he's second in minutes, but right behind Johnny Davis, and he's second in turnovers as well on the Washington Wizards roster. Isaiah Todd is shooting 40% from the 3-point line. He is shooting 3 threes per game. 3.5 threes per game. So that is pretty. He's been solid from the 3-point line. The first game of the Summer League, he was 3 for 7. So he's been solid from the 3-point line. Johnny Davis, 8.5 points per game through 2 games, 36th among all rookies in points per game. If you've played to qualify for that, you had to play at least 2 games in the Summer League, not just 1 game. Because I want to say there was some guy on the list who played 1 game and he averaged like 20 points a game. Other guys, Keegan Murray's leading all rookies with 21.5 points per game. Blake Wesley's right behind him with 21. Paolo Bancaro, 20 points a game. These are the guys that played at least 2 Summer League games. Benedict Mathurin, 19 points a game. Tari Eason is leading all rookies with 12 rebounds per game in 2 games. Johnny Davis. So, yeah, those are the numbers I have. And then just talking about Johnny, again, I know it's the talk of the town and how he performed in the first 2 games. I just want to see him post up more. I said this yesterday. I really hope they call some more post-up plays for him in the high post, in the low post, on the block. I think that's just where he's more comfortable. Right now, he's just not creating a lot of separation and getting by guys. And that was the concern coming out of Wisconsin as well, where he was kind of an old-school mid-range guy, where he shot a lot of contested shots, a lot of mid-range shots, where he had to rise over guys, a lot of contested shots and difficult shots. He was a tough shot maker and a very physical guy. Played football in high school, so he has that physicality. He's showing off the defense. He did get a breakaway steal, but just didn't make the layup. So he's showing off some of the physicality there, but I just don't think – I think to get the best out of him right now in the Summer League, make it easier for him by giving him some touches on the block, giving him some touches on the left elbow as well at the free throw line. So I know it's not always – I know the consensus is that it's not translatable to the NBA because it's more about layups and threes and dunks and threes right now. But there are guys that still shoot the mid-range shot. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeMar DeRozan is a mid-range assassin. Rui is a mid-range assassin. So there's no problem with scoring mid-range shots. But as I keep saying, a lot of it is on Johnny Davis. He needs to be more aggressive. He needs to look for a shot more. He just has to. He does not need to hesitate on the three. If he's missing threes, it's fine. This is what the summer league's for, to improve on his three-point shot. He's only shot 5 threes. He should have shot at least 10 by now. He's hesitated and has been a little timid and hesitant to shoot the three. So he if he has a little bit of space, he needs to launch it, because right now the way the defenses are playing, they're closing out on him and they're still giving him a little bit of space, and they're recovering very quickly because his first step is just not there. It's just not as explosive as it needs to be to get by guys. Maybe he can work on his footwork there to get past guys and attack closeouts. But right now he's getting stuck on the island. He's kind of like indecisive and not knowing where to go when they stop him when he's at the 3-point line. He'll take at least 2 dribbles to about the free throw line, and then he'll get stuck and look around and look to pass the ball, and nobody's really open, and he finally gives it up. And he's done that at least 3 or 4 times throughout the first 2 games of the summer league. So that's just my observations right there. Right now, leading the team in points right now is, of course, I want to say Jordan Shackle. I'll pull up the numbers right here, and then we'll get to the mailbag question. I want to say it's Jordan Shackle. I know Vernon Carey's played really well as well. Jordan Shackle's leading the team with 15 points a game. Jordan Goodwin 11.5. Vernon Carey with 11 points a game. Tyler Hall with 11 points a game. Johnny Davis is 4th on the Wizards with 8.5 per game. Vernon Carey's leading the team with rebounds per game, 7.5. Devin Dotson's leading the team with 4.5 rebounds per game. Vernon Carey's leading the team with blocks and 1 block per game. Pat Spencer, 2 blocks a game. And that one game he played yesterday, Pat Spencer had 2 steals. So those are the numbers right there for the summer league so far. So, but let's get to a mailbag question here. I've been wanting to get to the mailbag questions. This one was about Corey Kispert. This one is from Nolan on Twitter. On Twitter, his username is YUNG. So Young Gilgamesh, YUNG _GILGAMESH, Young Gilgamesh. He says, if the roster stays as is going into the season, where do you see Corey Kispert getting minutes? At the 2 or the 3, or is he the odd man out of the rotation? And then, of course, I just want to say that the Wizards, I didn't go in depth about Taj Gibson, but this kind of ties into the rotation question with Corey Kispert. Taj Gibson, it's going to be between him and Jaime, and I'm sorry, Vernon Carey and Jaime Echenique for that last center spot. So I'll just throw that in there. Nolan says, if the roster stays as is going into the season, where do you see Corey Kispert getting minutes at the 2 or the 3, or is he the odd man out of the rotation? So this is a good question now, because actually Nolan asked this question on July 1st, and I haven't been able to get to it until today. After seeing Johnny Davis, before the draft, I was saying, hey, Johnny Davis is going to start at the 2 spot before Corey Kispert. I was like, hey, Corey Kispert is going to go. He's going to play right behind Bradley Beal. He's going to get at least 20 minutes per game. But now looking right now after the 2 summer league, and I hate to do this, I hate to base it off the summer league, but right now he just looks like he has a little ways to go developing. His offensive game needs a lot of polish. And I do think if he has some time in the G League, I do think that could help and get his confidence up and get the jitters out. And he just needs to get shots up. He needs to get reps and reps and reps as much as he can. And I just think right now, watching the way he's playing right now, if he's still timid and not aggressive, Corey Kispert he's letting it fly now. Corey Kispert was kind of the same way. In the summer league, he was struggling too. And then he got into the regular season, he was way more aggressive. He was letting it fly. He was attacking closeouts better. So I do think right now Corey Kispert is ahead of Johnny Davis on the depth chart. I got at the shooting. I think Corey would play at the 2 spot. When Bradley Beal went down after the wrist injury after the All-Star game, Corey Kispert started at the 2 spot. So don't forget that. I do think Corey Kispert is right behind Bradley Beal, and Johnny Davis is a 2. He's not really a point guard. That's not his first calling card. Playing the 3 is not his first or second calling card. He did play the 3 and the 2 in college though, but I just see him more as a shooting guard. And right now, I think he can get the most playing time really at the shooting guard. It's really between him and Corey. At the 3 spot is Will Barton and Denny on the depth chart. Maybe Kyle Kuzma at the 3, maybe Rue at the 3. So it's just a lot of interchangeable wings there. But I think right now, Johnny Davis, he would probably get the bulk of his minutes at the 2 right behind Bradley Beal. When Bradley Beal gets tired, or sometimes when they have point Brad, maybe Johnny Davis could play the 2, or, just coming off the bench, Johnny Davis and DeLon Wright playing the point guard and the shooting guard position. But Corey Kispert, I got him playing at the two spot. Played really well last year at points. Now, he struggled, of course, in the first half of the year. He shot 32% from the three-point line before the All-Star break, and then after the All-Star break, he shot 38.6% from the three-point line. So he had a really nice game against the Warriors where he hit at least 4 or 5 threes in that game. He hit a nice step-back three. He just has to be a movement shooter. He's modeling his game after Duncan Robinson. He says he watches Duncan Robinson film from the Miami Heat. So he's learning how to attack closeouts. There was times where he got his three-pointer blocked. I remember one game he had an up-and-down travel, and you could just see he was a little flustered. After the All-Star break, he averaged 11.4 points a game, 3.1 boards, and 1.5 assists in 24 games. So I think also after the All-Star break, he showed a lot of promise. Now, should he be playing in the Summer League? I do think he should be. You listen to what Richard Jefferson said the other day on ESPN. Guys, after their rookie years and their second years, they should be playing in the Summer League for the majority. If you're not, even if you make an all-rookie team, I can see guys like Cade Cunningham not playing and Anthony Edwards after his rookie year, sure. But guys like Corey and Denny, I do think they didn't have to play all 4 or 5 Summer League games, but I definitely think they could have benefited and worked on some things. Denny working on his left hand and finishing around the rim. And also Corey Kispert just working on, attacking closeouts and other things. And I think Corey Kispert's a good athlete as well. He finishes around the rim really, really well. He really does. And I think he's a really good athlete. And he had a couple dunks last year. So I thought he played really well. So once again, to answer your question, I have him coming off the bench. On the depth chart, I have him right before Corey Kispert. I have him getting at least 20 minutes a game. I want to look up how many minutes Corey Kispert got last year. Of course, his minutes went up because, he started 36 games. He played 77 games, started in 36 games. He averaged 23.4 minutes per game. So I would say right in line with 20 minutes per game, right behind Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is going to get at least, 40, 36, 37, 38, 40 minutes out of a 48-minute game. So I would say Corey Kispert will probably get about 23 minutes per game. And he has the potential to be a 50, 40, 90 guy. He shot 45% from the field last year, 35% from the three-point line, and 87% from the free throw line. Only shot 0.8 free throws a game, so he's not going to get to the line a lot. But he does have to work on his game defensively. Sometimes he is a liability on defense. Just moving his feet, just has to work on that. He was the best shooter coming out of Gonzaga, and I think he can continue to be an elite shooter in the NBA. So I'm looking for him to get at least to 38% from the three-point line. So once again, to answer your question, I think he is above Johnny Davis on the depth chart so far from what I've seen from 2 Summer League games. Like I said, I don't want to base it too much off of Summer League, but of course, if Johnny Davis came in and put up like 25 or 30 points, then I'm like, okay, yeah, Johnny Davis is going to be the first guy off the bench. But after what I've just seen the past 2 games, I have Corey Kispert ahead of him on the depth chart, and Corey Kispert will be their go-to shooter, three-point shooter, three-point specialist off the bench for sure. So, but yeah, I just want to thank you guys for listening and tuning in and watching, and making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. For your second listen, get up to date on the latest news and rumors in the NBA. Just 30 minutes every day with Locked On NBA. Locked On NBA, your daily NBA update in just 30 minutes. And hell to the Wizards. Peace.